Welcome, everyone. Happy Sunday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Sunday, April 13th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are, we've got here the Queen of Pentacles in its upright in combination with our Strength card. So, one of the things I think that we're seeing that's happening right now, particularly with a lot of this energy coming into this Libra full moon, and I want to describe this, and I think that there's something very elegant about what we're seeing astrologically right now, is we just came out of a very rough energetic cycle, particularly and especially due to the fact that we went through not only an eclipse, but we went through an eclipse at the same time as we were navigating a Venus retrograde on top of a Mercury retrograde. So what we effectively see that occurs in those moments or in those modalities is having to work through a lot of over focus on the self, right? We talked a lot about the fact that Mercury, the Venus retrograde cycles make it very easy to have to navigate through visual distortions, right? Seeing things that feel like they're directed towards the self, or only seeing things from the optics of the self. At the same time, going through Mercury retrograde cycles, things that feel like they're breaking or coming apart in the process. Working through that context, not allowing oneself to feel broken, but instead appreciating the journey of discovery on what it is that one is working towards. There's a lot of catharsis there. There's a lot of healing. There's a lot of adaptability. But at the same time, a lot of this energy that we're experiencing right now, it feels like incubation energy, right? It's giving a lot of that, like, pardon our appearance. It's giving a lot of that space of recognizing the tenderness and the delicacy by which we navigate change. And it's not, and it's interesting too, because there's a lot of conversation here specifically around the vitality of concentrated, focused, incremental effort, right? This is very important right now. And one of the reasons I keep on seeing that this is so important, I'm going to say it's especially important for the energy and separation, is, and I keep on seeing the difference between the energetic cycles that feel more like they're built or based upon bursts of activation, right? Something that isn't necessarily wrong, but in the fact that it's not stable, that is where the difficulty is. Versus energy that is building forth into chariot partnerships right now. And why are these chariot partnerships? Because they're working through coming into the partnership by means of recognizing the stabilizing force of small, consistent effort, right? And that doesn't feel exhaustive. It feels foundational. It feels directional, because that ability of doing something and that ability of being consistent in the things we do, this is how we build a vibe. I keep on saying this is how we build a vibe, but more so than that, this is how we build a habit. This is how we build a routine. This is how we build a practice, right? It's not about doing something in a big way and then having to, like, do it in a big way again and again and again. It's the beautiful symmetry of small incremental insistence. I'm going to say that again. The beautiful symmetry of small incremental insistence. Because when we and why are they saying small incremental insistence? Because when we build an energetic standard for ourselves, that's effectively what we do. It's the small incremental insistence in being able to be energetically sustainable insofar of what we are creating for ourselves. And that ability of doing so, that patience that we give ourselves, right? The catharsis that we find in appreciating how far we can come via small, focused effort. I keep on seeing that there's a lot of this energy right now that is like some of these new partnerships are starting to gain momentum. Some of these new partnerships are starting to build into strength, right? And it's not, I keep on saying, it's not a firework. It feels like a campfire, right? It's that work that we do that allows for that easement of determination. Now, there's a lot of patience that I'm seeing right now, particularly for energy in separation, because that fabric of consistency that we build for one another, I keep on seeing that there's something like I keep on hearing this, like something about the energy and separation, feeling the glow, as it were. And why are they calling it, like, why is it the glow? Because the glow that they're feeling is they're like, I keep on feeling like the fragile heart that has been that often closes down when they're more in a space of receiving bursts is starting to come back into itself again. It's starting to remember how to feel. Because here's the thing, and this is what I keep on seeing that's happening right now for a lot of energy and separation. And we talked a lot about this in the last reading. When we get a lot of something, but it's not consistent, even if it's good, it can feel like an even worse shock to our system, right? Because what happens when we have something that is really good, but it isn't consistent? It creates energetic withdrawal, right? We go through those moments that it feels like, it almost makes things energetically worse. So everything I keep on seeing for a lot of the energy and separation, I keep on hearing that this is energy right now building into new partnerships, healing from energy that was relationships that were more built on inspiration. And what is a hallmark of energy that is built on inspiration? It's more bursts of activation, right? It's not necessarily that there's something wrong. It's actually the problem that it's too good, but it's not consistent. Often when a relationship is in a space that it's too good, but it's not consistent, it's almost worse than if it wasn't good at all. Because at least if something isn't good and it's consistent, it leaves you in a space of knowing when to expect. But when you're in a space that you're trying to build into something that is more inspirational, so you have these bursts of activation, but without the constancy of it, it creates this, like I keep on seeing, like it creates trauma. It creates the trauma of having to navigate a shock to the system, right? And this is energy that is learning to be surprised again, right? Because remembering, a shock to the system isn't a surprise. A shock, you can still be energetically surprised in a space of consistency. So everything I keep on seeing here, this is why there's so much potential frustration that's being released in some of these energetic connections, because it is like it's working through understanding that, and I keep on hearing, and this is what we talk about feels good is good, that something that is nourishing to us is something that is energetically constant, because it is in its sustainability that it allows us a landscape to be able to predicate upon what we can expect. Now, center card for today's spread, and this is going to get into the energy that's coming into Divine Union. We've got here a lot of that Ace of Swords energy. So everything I keep on seeing, like particularly and especially right now with a lot of this Ace of Swords energy, I think this is beautiful, because this is working in the context of a lot of that energetic balance in relationality to the Libra energy that we're experiencing right now. Now, what's nice about Libra energy? Working through Libra energy, and we talked about this, there was a lot of that space about adapting to and recognizing and working through the context of regulation of the self. And what do we talk about when we talk about regulation of the self? It's not building into the context of feeling. And this is a bit of the gift that we're receiving right now, right? One of the gifts that we're receiving right now with the fact that Mercury is stationed behind Neptune is the ability to, I keep on feeling, being able to separate the emotions from the higher self, right? The ability to see something with clarity, not allowing, like the ability to feel the emotions, but not feel overwhelmed by the emotions. This is why this is also Chariot energy right now, because what do we see in the Chariot card that we talk a lot about? The Chariot energy has to deal with navigating the forces of both the higher self and the energetic ego, right? That's why we have the two forces that are in front of the Chariot card. But when we're in that space and we know ourselves and we're able to see that point, it allows us to navigate in a space that we feel, again, emotionally, like emotionally strong, but logically sound, right? It's not the separation point of the emotion. It's not like moving fully towards how the emotions feel. It's not removing oneself from the logic of the self, but it's finding that meeting point between the two that allows for a lot of that clarity as it relates to direction. And that's what I keep on seeing that is beneficial right now in some of these partnerships that are coming towards each other. I keep on seeing the refreshing relief in knowing the direction that something is going, right? And when there is clarity in the knowing the direction something's going, then you don't need to fixate and worry about it. You allow that glow to begin, the healing of intimacy, because you can enjoy the journey. You can enjoy, it's like you can enjoy how you feel. You can enjoy being on the journey together because you're not constantly perseverating about where the direction is headed. Now, for a lot of the energy right now coming into divine union, this is why I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy in that space, having to, I feel like there's something about the energy coming into divine union right now that is looking back at the past with frustration, potentially even like frustration towards the self. But I keep on saying it's reaffirming frustration. And why? Because when we're energetically frustrated, it allows us to refocus our attention. It allows us to reorient, if you will. So everything I keep on seeing here to a certain extent is this is the energy that isn't allowing themselves to feel like borne down under the weight of regret, but almost letting that the regret refocus and set the intention. As I mentioned, it's incubation energy. While for masculine and feminine, deep within divine union right now, 2 cards, please. Yeah, there's that world card in its reversal in combination with our 7 of Pentacles in its reversal. And everything I keep on seeing here to a certain extent, I want to identify this. I kind of want to recognize this. There's something, and I feel like this, it feels, I feel that the one thing that I'm identifying here that is, and I keep, there's something, how do I describe this? It has to do, I keep on saying it has to do with the fact that Mercury has woken up behind Neptune, right? The ability to see something from a place of objectivity, but also to communicate your feelings upon it. Like there's a lot of that clarity of intention and the communication of emotion that is allowing for a lot of, I keep on seeing clear effort, if you will. And that's why I keep on seeing that there's a lot of that work that's being navigated in relationality to something that I see specifically around, I keep on saying gentle touches. And what do we mean by a gentle touch? The gentle touch that we give to one another, that when we're trying to move something in a direction, which is courteous. And that's why I keep on hearing the gentle touch is courteous, because the courtesy that we give one another in offering the direction that we'd like to move something in, but not energetically forcing something, coming into that space that allows for that adaptability point. I keep on seeing that there is some work that's happening right now for energy deep within divine union. And it has to do with being able, and I keep on hearing the same message, extending the olive branch, but not cutting down the tree. What does that mean? It means that when we offer something to another with the desire of where we want it to go, we don't force that energetic intention on another, right? We articulate it as in such a way that we give them the opportunity to identify and recognize how they want to proceed upon it. So there's something very beautiful about that, but there's also a lot of that energy that is doing so because of identifying, potentially even around situations where they may have experienced some stubbornness in the past, right? Which has to do with, again, working in spaces where someone's energetically rigid but isn't necessarily inclined to explain the reasons why. Continuing to get clarification between our Queen of Pentacles in its upright in combination with our Strength card in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now. We've got our Emperor card here. I absolutely love seeing these two cards in confluence to each other, because this is very, and I feel like a lot of this has to do, and I like this too, because there's something that we're going to be recognizing. It's the re-entry into Aries energy, if that makes sense. I want to describe this. Remember what I said about the fact that Venus and Mercury pulled back into Pisces once they were in, once they were in Aries. And this has a bit to do with what I was saying about recognizing and identifying if you feel like you navigated through this eclipse well, because it's not that you can't move with intentional effort during eclipses, but that's why I was really articulating during this period to make sure that you weren't taking something personally. Because coming out of the eclipse, like usually a good hallmark of knowing if you've come out of the eclipses and you're still like you were in an even keel through the eclipse, is coming into that space of saying, I said what I said. You know what I mean? Like if you say something or you feel something in the eclipse cycle and you're able to still feel the holding of it outside of the eclipse, then that usually means that you were moving with intention during the eclipse. But that's why, again, not allowing oneself to be triggered, not allowing oneself to take things personally during the eclipse cycle. You know, I was trying to save you guys a reading, coming to me being like, I don't know why I said that. Be like, I do. The eclipse got to you. You know what I mean? Like the eclipse got to you. But I keep on seeing that there's something about this right now that's allowing for a lot of that energy that feels fortifying. It feels reaffirming, because I need to point this out. Even in the space, I need to point, and when we are good with ourselves, we don't, I keep on seeing when we feel good in our intention, then we never regret articulating through frustration. Because again, the ability to identify, and this is why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now coming into these new relationships, simply being able to articulate a frustration and not have someone walk away at that moment, not have someone say, like, not be like, oh, that's very ugly of you to like be frustrated, or that's not very dream of you, right? This is a lot of the energy, and this is why I see that there's a lot of frustration that is being communicated, because when we build into the context of someone's performative self, we don't allow for the authenticity of the self to exist, right? That's often why we have those moments and someone expresses our frustration and they say like, oh, you're not who I expected you to be, because it's the identification of the illusion, right? And when we build in illusory ways with one another, we're not ready to navigate, like I keep on seeing the tangibility point in the difference between, I keep on seeing desiring perfect and making perfect. Perfect is never found. We talk a lot about this here. Perfect is a cardinal direction. It's something that we strive towards. It's always a little bit out of our reach. And that's why when we navigate that with a sense of compassion for the self, we give it to those around us. That's why I was articulating, making sure that you were leading forth through this retrograde with a sense of compassion. But when we work in that context here, in that space, this is why I keep on hearing like there's energy right now building relationships and saying it's such a relief. It's such a relief. Why is the energy saying it's such a relief? Because this is the energy that's saying it's such a relief to be able to be in my authenticity around you, not feeling like one has to perform the act of the self, right? Because often when we're in those burst relationships or energy that's only in the space of desiring to come towards us to be energetically inspired, it doesn't leave us room to be authentic, because when we articulate our frustration, we're breaking the dream of another. Right? We're breaking the dream of what another person idealizes us as being energetically perfect upon. And this is why there's something about this energy here that feels, I keep on seeing, it's like, I feel like a lot of these partnerships are, I want to describe this, disillusioned in the best way possible. But I need to stress this. It's because they're not building upon, they're not being romantic to each other. They're excited about what they can create together, right? This is like building blocks energy. This is a lot of, like, I keep on seeing, like, the energy that understands the practicality is romantic. The stabilization point is the dream, right? They're not in that space of, like, I keep on hearing, like, there's some energy right now, like moving away from energetic drama to a certain extent, recognizing that drama is based upon energy that's looking more for, like, the emotional rush of relationship, as opposed to the stabilizing nourishment of what feels like it's healthy and supportive to the self, right? And that's why I keep on seeing there's so much of that. Like, I keep on hearing it's like it's griping energy, but it's positive griping, because this is the energy that like almost gripes and laughs at each other, and like says it's such a relief to be in the presence of someone that I can share those feelings with. Continuing to get clarification between our Strength card in combination with our Ace of Swords in its upright. It's solidarity, especially with this I keep on seeing here, this Seven of Swords in its reversal. It's solidarity that's coming through right now with a lot of this, Libra full moon energy, because the solidarity that we're effectively recognizing and around circumstances or situations here, I just keep on identifying that these are I keep on just, this is the solidarity of the self, right? And the thing is, when we build into the context of authenticity and solidarity of the self, I keep on seeing it's understanding what our assignments are. It's recognizing where the work is. It's being able to not feel that the space of heavy regret, but almost immediately moving it into the context of setting the intention going forward. So that's why I keep on seeing that there's something about this, like, energy here that feels very practical. It feels very clearing, because this is the energy that isn't, like, agonizing on the past, but being very practical about what they can do in the present. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, clarification between our Ace of Swords and our World card in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Eight of Pentacles in its upright. And something about this here, this is stabilizing. There's something here that feels incredibly, and I keep on, like, it feels like busy energy, but it feels like busy energy in productive ways. And that's why I keep on seeing that there's a lot of this energy right now that is not, and I keep on seeing, like, a little bit of that practicality is not getting overly concerned about how one feels. Right? And that's why I keep on seeing for the energy deep within divine union, almost saying around situations, feelings have nothing to do with it. Why? Because when something's important to us, we don't just hold on to it because we have a lot of feelings on it. We're able to identify the reasons why. And that's why I keep on hearing that this is energy that is, like, working on, focusing on the reasons why, not just focusing on the emotional feelings, right? A lot of communication here. Clarification between our World card in its reversal in combination with our Seven of Pentacles in its reversal. May I have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. I like this. We've got our Eight of Cups in its reversal, right? I keep on hearing that for energy deep within divine union, better, not bitter, right? It's a lot of that. And I keep on seeing, like, it's a lot of that, like, we gotta talk about this. So, there's something I even see here that I keep on hearing that has to do with the fact when we harbor bitterness to things, it it doesn't bring anything positive, right? It sits within us. It almost like, it's like it energetically, I keep on seeing this, like it energetically festers. You know what I mean? That's why we keep on seeing that, working in the context of, and we talk a lot about this, you know, working in the context of healing is not a journey of letting everything go. It's not the journey that says, "Oh, I have to, cleanse myself of everything." It's the journey of understanding the meaning of the things that we hold on to, right? Because it's in that space that we're able to articulate and identify and understand the things that are not okay or do not sit well within us, that either give us one or two directives. They give us the ability to see something in another that we do not agree to, right? Something that we identify and we're able to say, something I recognize there was something that I determined was not in alignment with my higher self. Or they're moments that allow for the context or the exploration of the self, saying, that's something that I could do better. That's something that I can change. So that ability, I keep on seeing, the ability to disassemble the things that we hold on to be able to articulate why they are precious and important to us. It doesn't require, and this is what we talk about, surrender isn't about surrendering everything. It's surrendering things that we insist on, which is things that we hold on to, but we don't know why. Because often when we don't know why, it's because it's holding, like that's the ego holding on to something that it doesn't want to look at within the self. Right? And so that's why I keep on seeing that this can be difficult for energy deep within divine union, because if they're doing that work together and there's energy that's more in that point of resistance, you can't force someone into that space. That's why I keep on seeing there's a lot of that gentle touch energy to articulate and identify what feels like it can become more energetically restorative, but not forcing things. Continuing to get clarification between our Emperor card in combination with our Seven of Swords in its reversal. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now with our Knight of Cups. This is beautiful. These are some beautiful cards today. I keep on seeing that for energy coming into divine union, like for the energy coming into divine union right now, there's a lot of I keep on seeing an expression of feeling. I keep on seeing there's like a lot of this space in being able to articulate appreciation for one another. And there's something really valuable and important about that, because something I keep on seeing that's occurring there as it relates to the sentimentality of things, everything I keep on seeing, like this is the energy that says to one another, you have no idea the impact that you have on me. And the energy is almost like I don't do anything. And the energy says, yes, you do. Because through you, I see myself more clearly, right? Because often the gift that we receive in partnership is the gift of clear seeing, the clarity of recognizing ourselves and the clarity of being seen. That identification point that helps us calibrate and set our intentions. And even when we feel like we're not matching our own standard, the ability of identifying what we can do to change something. I keep on seeing that this is the energy that feels like they almost feel like they're moving into that space of having that breakthrough, right? The breakthrough is the identification point of what you are aspiring to do differently. Now, for masculine and feminine energy, and I keep on hearing like the gift that the energy is having in divine union is, again, not via the energetic constancy that they're creating for one another, is giving the energy the clarity of being able not to focus so much on the journey of coming into partnership. Because when we have the partnership that's stable, that stabilization point, it allows us to see more because we're not having to constantly put our attention towards it. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, in separation, I keep on hearing there's a lot of energy saying this is a start of something beautiful. right? It's clumsy, right? Like this is the energy that says this is very clumsy, but I think that this is the start of something beautiful because beautiful things start in clumsy ways. Why do beautiful things start in clumsy ways? Because the clumsiness is the courtesy. The clumsiness is the care, right? The clumsiness is working in such a way and trying to do something like differently that it almost feels like a release and a relief because this is the energy that's learning as they go. Continuing to get clarification between our Seven of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Eight of Pentacles in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with the Ace of Pentacles in its reversal. And that's really beautiful to a certain extent too, because I have to stress this. I want you, if you have a moment, if you're joining us, make sure you take time to, if you're following the podcast, make sure you take time to look at today's spread over on our Substack, because we've got double pentacle energy. We've got double pentacle energy that's coming through right now. And so there's something really beautiful about that, because I just keep on seeing that there's a lot of that identification point as it relates to not and this is why I keep on seeing that this is a moment that may be feeling like a breakthrough, but also a lot of frustration that is being communicated for energy that is in separation. Because I keep on seeing, if this is energy that is starting to build someone, that they're seeing the absolute beauty of small, consistent effort, it's giving all of the clarity, if you will, on what wasn't that. It's giving all of the clarity in relation. It's almost like I keep on hearing the energy that feels the relief and release of the past relationship or the past experience via understanding the difference between someone that comes towards us more from a place of energetic inspiration, those bursts, if you will, right? Versus building into the context of stabilization. So everything that I'm seeing there, like I just keep on identifying that there's something very profound and beautiful that is occurring in those moments, specifically and particularly because, and this is why I keep on seeing that this is the energy that feels the refreshing breath of being able to converse with another person authentically, and someone not running away from them in the process because they're no longer matching their idea of who they desire to be. Like, because again, when someone's building towards us only from the space of their own indulgence point and we try to be authentic to them, that often will repel them because they'll be like, that's not very dream of you, right? While for masculine and feminine that are coming into divine union, I keep on seeing that this is the energy that keeps on saying like that point of appreciation to one another, because this is the energy that says when we don't need to worry about what it is we have with one another, it frees our hands to create. When we're not having to constantly worry about what we're building together, then it leaves us the ability to see ourselves with more clarity. So it's almost like an evolution point that energy right now is receiving coming into divine union, because this is the energy that feels like they're in a partnership that is sustainable enough that it gives them the ability to concentrate on evolving the self. Continuing to get clarification for energy deep within divine union. We see a lot of the energy deep within divine union right now. This is the energy that is, I can see some energy right now deep within divine union working. Like this is like, I have to say, like this, like the most frustrated energy right now is the energy deep within divine union. And this is just to give you an indication point as it relates to the fact that it's not that one of these places is better or worse than the other. Because I keep on seeing that when we're working through lessons of fermentation, we hold firm on things. We hold firm on things. We hold firm on things. But when we're doing that properly, we're not stubborn. We hold firm on things because we're able to articulate and amplify why they're important to us. right? And so I keep on seeing that there's a lot of that space of communication. There's a lot of that articulation there. And I keep on seeing that this is the energy that's not allowing themselves to be frustrated, but almost channeling that frustration into conversation that feels energetically productive, right? And identifying and recognizing what feels like, I can see some energy right now deep within divine union, doing the work and identifying and recognizing what can heal, like what has moved into a space that it can heal versus something that is still energetically resistant, or someone who's just energetically hard. Like, like when you have those moments, you can't change it. That's why I keep on hearing for the energy deep within divine union. I keep on hearing extending the olive branch, but not cutting down the tree, right? Like not cutting down the tree of the self. When we're trying to build into the space of trying to heal something, we give compassion to it, but regulated compassion. Continuing to get clarification between our Eight of Pentacles in combination with our Eight of Cups in its reversal. A lot of 8 energy today, a lot of 7 energy, but we've got 3 different 8s on the table today because we've also got the Strength card out. And we've got the Strength card, which is an 8 card. We've got the 8 of Pentacles. We've also got the 8 of Cups in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with the 9 of Swords. So, one of the things that we're seeing right now with the 9 of Swords, there's something to do with catharsis here. It has to do with catharsis. And I keep on hearing, I want to describe something that I'm seeing that is happening right now for energy deep within divine union. And it has to do, I keep on seeing, it has to do with path work as it relates to articulating the amount. These are warrior lessons that are also returning back, right? Because a lot of the space that we identify and recognize in warrior lessons, it's not that, it's sometimes, and we have to talk about, like, it's not that there isn't something, and I need to stress this, it's the energy that works on the regulation of the self in the space of not forcing their energetic will upon others. And I keep on hearing, and this has been coming through like a lot over the last few days, the difference between niceness and courtesy, right? Because you can be nice and impolite. You can be forceful and nice, right? And it's often like when we experience those, discourtesy is not expressed on whether you have a smile on your face when you do something. It's discourteous to insist on things, right? And so I keep on seeing that there's a lot of conversations in relationality to the difference between courtesy and niceness. The identification point that courtesy is the authentic expression of allowing another to inhabit the space of their choice, right? Honoring choices is how we are courteous. We express courtesy and love to one another by allowing ourselves and each other to honor our choices and to embody the space of it. But often, energy that's trying to be forceful and not will be nice in the process, right? Like, then this is what we talked about the fact that when we're in a space of love, we don't force our love on others. We don't think about what it is. Like, it feels good to give. And we have to stress this. It feels good to give because sometimes when it feels good to give, that is the ego, right? Like, that is the ego that feels that space because it allows for that context of wanting to move in a space that feels energetically good. But that's why we talk about the healthy love isn't just the energetic force of love that feels good to give. It's paying attention to what another person needs, right? Not allowing what we want to give to interrupt what another person is energetically asking for. So I keep on seeing that there's a lot of that energy here, almost working through the path work of trying to articulate that to another or not trying to be in a space of forcing things, right? It's interesting because I know it's not out here, but I feel like there's a lot of Two of Swords energy around some stuff right now for energy deep within divine union. I would not be surprised if that card makes an appearance because that's what it feels like to a certain extent. Like, and that is also that's also an energy I often see connected to Libra as well. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, especially with it, it's also because Jupiter's in Gemini. So that I have to say, like the Jupiter being in Gemini is exalting, it's exalting the Libra full moon, because it's the same Jupiter, Libra and Gemini are very much in the same space as it relates to navigating differences and working between them. So that's why I keep on seeing that this is the energy that's working through the difference of being able to tell the difference between things that are energetically stubborn versus again the exquisite insistence point of holding on and being able to articulate upon something because of its intrinsic value or meaning. While for continuing to get clarification here between our, and like again, and between our Knight of Cups energy and our Ace of Pentacles. One card to clarify, please. This is great because I just keep on seeing, and the funny thing about it is it feels like breakthroughs in the realms of authenticity. It feels like breakthroughs that are happening right now in the realms of authenticity. And why am I seeing this? Remember I said that there was a lot of that work that we were identifying as it relates to Renaissance energy. Being able to speak towards things in such a way that, and I keep on seeing, that's why I keep on hearing, why are these a lot of lessons working on authenticity? And this is the energy that's saying feelings have nothing to do with it. Why are we seeing that to a certain extent? Because, and I keep on like, when we, and I know this is going to sound paradoxical, but when we understand ourselves, we feel our feelings, but we communicate through them. We don't act upon our energetic urges. We don't allow for that calibration point of like moving in directions that are oppositional to our own intention. We talk through them. And I keep on seeing that there's a lot of energy right now building into healthy partnership, but healing from experiences where it felt like another person was in a relationship based solely upon their whims. And the way we can often tell when energy's in a relationship built upon their whims is there's no consistency there. Right? It feels like the wind. It feels like the wind. It comes and it goes. You're waiting. It's like a kite. You're like, when, you can't build a relationship off kite energy. You can't build a relationship off whims. It's not based off whims. It's based on aspirations. It's what we affirm to one another. And so I keep on seeing that what's difficult about that is sometimes, and I keep on seeing the devastating relationship that's built on whims is almost harder to remove oneself from than any other, because it's not necessarily that there isn't something there that is bad. There just isn't enough of it. And you never know when to expect it. And it leaves you in a space that you're constantly feeling like you're waiting, because you don't know, like, it's like, when's the wind going to be here? You know what I mean? Like you can't predicate it because it's waiting for another person to feel energetically inspired or inclined to be in the space of energetically arriving to the relationship. And so I keep on seeing that the breakthrough, and this is why these are chariot partnerships that are happening right now, is this is the energy that's saying to one another, I promise, and through the silent metaphor, of small intentional insistence, the courtesy. Remember the same gentle touch that we see for the energy right now deep within divine union? What are these energies whispering to each other as they build towards each other? You'll never have to question who I am, because my actions will show you how much you mean to me every day. That exquisite insistence of love that isn't determinative based upon how we feel, but determinative upon what the intentional effort that we put to maintain and fortify an energetic connection. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, coming into divine union, clarification between our Ace of Pentacles in its reversal, in combination with our Nine of Swords in its upright. Can I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through. I'm not surprised to see it because I've been getting a sense that we're moving. What's interesting about this is I feel like the next energetic cycle that we're going to be building upon is going to be hermit relationships. I got to see what's coming up. I don't know why I keep seeing this, but I keep on hearing that there's something about these next energetic connections that are going to be about like hermit energy, because everything I keep on reading for is saying to me it's chariot moving into hermit. But a lot of that is having to do, what's beautiful about hermit energy is being good with the self, right? Feeling right within the self, like not looking outside of the self for validation, right? And I keep on seeing that there's something even now that's happening for a lot of these energetic connections that feels stabilizing. It feels energetically fortifying. Now, but it's also, and I got to say this, how is the energy moving in that space? By letting go of things but letting go of energetic illusions and moving towards the pathwork of determination. And I keep on seeing, the thing I keep on hearing right now across all the frequencies is the difference between a wish and a manifestation. Let's talk about it. What is the difference between a wish and a manifestation? A wish is a sedentary manifestation. It's something that you aspire to have change, but you don't necessarily put any force of effort towards, right? Like that's why we say if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. Because when we're talking about, it's easy to articulate upon something that we're working towards, right? But being able to put that, activation energy towards something. And I keep on seeing the small clumsy energy that we're seeing right now, the training wheels energy, working in that space of trying to improve, trying to perfect, trying to do something better, recognizing and identifying the clumsiness along the way. This is a lot of that energy that even as they're building into those connections is saying it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not about being perfect. Perfect is what we make. It's being able to identify what it is that we're doing to make something easier, to make something better. So I keep on hearing that like what's happening for a lot of these energies right now in separation is recognizing the ability of energy that knows and recognizes the self to a certain degree, that they can work towards minor adjustments. Right? Because again, what happens when we're good with ourselves and someone gives us a note, right? When someone tells us something that frustrates them, we don't get defensive, right? We don't get oppositional to it. We absorb it, right? We integrate it. We identify and we either articulate upon clarifying to another what our energetic intentions are and reaffirming our commitment to do something in a different way. And in the moment that energy receives that, it suddenly gives them clarification on energetic connections that were based more on whim. And the thing is about it, whim relationships, energetic relationships based on whim have no room for frustration. You're never going to be able to have frustration in an energetic relationship built upon whim. Because if someone's coming towards you to be energetically inspired, right? If they're moving towards their whim and then you articulate something that bothers you, they're going to say, that's not very dream of you. And they're going to go away, right? Because it's like they're building upon the energetic whim. They're not trying to build something that feels energetically consistent. So this is a lot of the energy I see just working in the space. And this is a culmination of some of those energies that we saw coming into warrior energy. This isn't energy that's getting over internalizing that. Going, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not being able to get that from someone? It's not about adapting. Some things, when you experience them, it's identifying that when you recognize them, it's not about changing the self in order to bring someone into a space that they're not coming towards you from a place of whim. It's simply moving away from energy that's doing so. It's simply doing the work of identifying and recognizing. And it's like, again, working towards manifestations doesn't mean that you sit there with something that's like, you don't take the square peg and try to jam it into the round hole. You don't sit there and go, I bet if I just beat this in here enough, it'll go, because it will, but it'll never feel the way that you expect it to feel, right? Like if you say to yourself, okay, this could be my manifestation, I just can never express any dissent. This is great. This will be my manifestation. I just need to stop talking. This can be my manifestation. I just need to turn into an entirely different person in order to inhabit. Like the universe says, like you can have anything, but you can't just work towards manifestations as it relates to what it is you receive. A good manifestation is one that you find yourself on the journey. A good manifestation is not forcing something to become the manifestation. It is moving in accordance to it. It is recognizing, again, working through the pathwork of surrender, identifying what it is not as you move towards what is. And I keep on seeing that there's a lot of energy right now that is recognizing and understanding the arrival of their manifestation in a form that they completely did not expect. A little bit of this, like, welcome to like the delightful surprise of the universe that says, I know you probably weren't expecting it. I know you thought it was that you thought it was that person. You thought it was that person. Yeah, that one looked a lot like it, but which one feels like it? You have to look. You can't look at, don't look for the thing that looks like your manifestation. Ask yourself if it feels like your manifestation. Continuing to move into divine union. Why? This is the energy that's deep within divine union in relationships that feel like their manifestation. And what is an energetic relationship that feels like our manifestation feel like? They feel like that point of they feel that they fortify us. They feel like it's like the blossoming of the self. And that's not a space that requires us to be perfect. It helps us see and identify what it is that we're working towards. It allows for that adaptability. It allows for that changeability. So I keep on seeing that this is energy that is saying to each other, thank you. And they're saying, I'm not doing anything. And they're saying, yes, you are. I am flourishing in your embrace. I am flourishing in your embrace because you're not holding on to me tightly, because I don't feel the need to be something around you. And the moment that I feel the ability to be my authentic self, I am given the opportunity to energetically flourish. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, that like this is interesting because this is very oppositional. This is, I told you, it's a lot more fermentation. It's a lot more arms crossed energy. It's a lot of this, like, you can't force things. That's why the energy is shit. Like, that's why the energy's got its arms crossed, and it's saying the same thing as the energy within the other frequencies, but they're saying you can't force things. Like, that's the message that's coming through with a lot of this Libra full moon. You can't force things. And when we stop trying to force things, we can see things, right? And so I just keep on seeing that this is energy that's going, I can't force things, but I hope they see. I can't force things, but I hope they see. Because that's the energy. That's why you extend an olive branch. You're like, you're right. Have you been, are you seeing things yet? You have those moments. You have those moments and you just, like that. What are you going to do? Like, it's like it is what it is. You just kind of have to come into that space and you do, and here it is. What are you going to do? You do what you can, right? That's the thing about it. The question is, and that's why I keep on seeing that a lot of the energy in that space says to one another, what are you going to do? And the answer to that is, we do what we can, right? We do what we can, and we don't force things outside of that context. Continuing to get clarification between our 10 of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Hermit card in its upright. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. I like it. We've got a Page of Swords. There's a lot, this is what we can kind of anticipate with the fact that Mercury is like woken up behind Neptune right now, which is, I just keep on seeing, there's something really important as it relates to, and I want to describe this because it's a little bit, and this is why there's so much frustration that's potentially being released around some circumstances and situations right now. It's really frustrating when we have those moments that we identify that we're standing in our own way. You know what I mean? And sometimes in those moments we can be very hard on ourselves, right? But I have to say this, the moment that we see that, is immediately a gift, right? We talk about the process of awakening like it's like, it's not like, oh, it's those moments you go, oh man. It's like those moments. You're like often awakening. This is what awakening is. Awakening is not like, oh, it's like I was an idiot. It's like it's going through those moments of looking back at the past self and saying, you beautiful, precious idiot. You know what I mean? Like, it's those moments, but that's what we talk about with inner child healing, right? It's those moments that we allow for that context by which we hold ourselves in reverence, because it's in those moments that we identify and recognize that we can do something in a different way, right? And you've got to embody, you have to embody joy as you navigate that journey, right? Because often the first thing that we arrive to when we feel like we've awakened to something, what's the first thing we say? I'm late. You know what I mean? Like, I'm late. It feels like you're energetically late because you're seeing the whole experience of the past self and going, oh man, it took me that long. It took me that long. Yeah, that's how long it took. Don't chart your progress. Remember, you're never late on your own journey. You're always on time. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now, especially with the Four of Cups in its reversal. I keep on seeing not agonizing, and this has to do, that's the thing about some of this, the thing that's so rough about some of that Venus retrograde with the Mercury retrograde that we experienced is creating that space of really hyper, obsessing over decisions, right? I know, I'm telling you right now, I know that potentially one of the reasons that eclipse energy felt so rough or felt so rocky is it felt like there was a lot, just feeling a lot of this internal pressure in relationality to working through pathwork and making decisions. But this is why we had a gift of that Leo full moon energy that was working through that as well. Because when we're working through difficulty and hurdles of the self, but we navigate it with a sense of compassion for the self, right? When we ease ourselves on those journeys, when we don't hold our decisions, when we don't get so frustrated about choices, but we allow for the space of being more energetically easy or fluid. I keep on describing this, this is what we mean by flow state, because it's not a flow state is not one that you're perfect within. A flow state means you flow with it, even if you do something that feels like it's not perfect, right? You just don't get caught up on it. You don't run into a screeching halt. You just kind of roll with it. So I feel like the nice thing about some of this Libra energy is it does feel like there's a bit of that energetic catharsis insofar as building into the context of appreciating how much it takes to find the flow state of the self, where you're not agonizing over things. You're just allowing the ability to move through them and to observe the self in the process. And that's why I keep seeing that there's a lot of that, that feeling of flow state. Remember the Chariot energy, something that's jittery to start, something that takes a while to get moving. But that's because the energy is being careful, right? That's because the energy, when we don't fools rush into things, but energy that is conscientious is mindful. Energy that is conscientious takes their time, and sometimes they're awkward in that space because there's that heightened degree of consideration in relationality to how another person feels in the face of our own desire, right? While for masculine, and that's why I keep on hearing a lot of intimacy wounds that are being healed at this time. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy coming into divine union, this is the energy that feels like they're going through this process of refinement, that they finally arrived into an energetic connection. And the beauty of arriving into a connection that feels like it allows us an ability to be our authenticity is it allows us to finally blossom. It allows us to finally flourish. It doesn't require us to put when we don't have to put all of our time and energy in trying to maintain and establish a healthy connection, when we just build into that with another, then it gives us the ability to, find ourselves. It gives us the ability to go into a more internal journey. And so I just keep on seeing that there's so much of this energy right now that says to another, you have no idea the effect you've had on me. And the energy is saying, I'm not doing anything. And the energy says, you've released me from the burden. You've released me from the burden. You've released me from the agony of having to put all of my time and effort and energy in worrying on relationship. And that is a gift without, I keep on saying that the energy says that is a gift without measure. While for masculine and feminine energy, and that's why they say you have no idea, like that's the energy, you have no idea. And the energy is going, I'm not doing anything. They're like, yes, you are. Now for masculine and feminine energy that is deep within divine union, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, this is frustrating because I see a lot of the energy deep within divine union working on, I feel like this is energy that wants to flow. But when we want to flow and someone is calcified, it is painful for us, right? Because sometimes in those journeys, we have those desires to heal something, to want to move into a space of concordance. But, if another person is energetically rigid, and this is why I keep on seeing that the energy that heals extends the olive branch, but they don't cut down the tree, because they put that concerted effort towards something to extend the opportunity to heal something with another. But they also are respective to the fact that not everything can be healed, right? That we recognize and understand, and we hold each other in accordance to those journeys. So I keep on seeing that that's a lot of the energy that is working on the gentle touch, trying to identify what feels like it helps communicate that, but without feeling like it's energetically pushing. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you so much for being here to experience it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can do so on my site. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site. So I would encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings. Tarot class is this Wednesday, and I hope you will join us there. Our next class will be focusing on the Hangman card. If you would like to become a part of our tarot class program, all you need to do is head over to my Substack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of class material in the Tarot Church Library Archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I'll be doing my best in each class to give you an update on everything we have studied leading up into the next class, but the material is there for you to receive when you're ready to receive it. You will also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions you may have in relation to anything that we've studied also or are currently studying. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive full access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library Archive, you will also have access to the opportunity. You'll also have a discounted rate on the full year's worth of readings, and you will also have access to the opportunity of having a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein I will meet with you personally and assess where you are on your tarot journey to give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your benefit moving towards your personal tarot goals. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a founding member to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. I also post my Mystic Musings there, which will give you a written update on what we've been experiencing energetically. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my clients seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to now offer as well dream interpretation readings. These can be purchased on an individual level per dream or as a series. I would encourage, if you purchase the series, that you make sure that you start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.